And welcome back to the Daily Dribble podcast, guys. As always, I'm your host, Nick Zammit, here back right before we enter the most exciting time of the year, playoff basketball. We are now merely a week or two away from the postseason beginning, and the anticipation is through the roof. Like, as I've said time in and time out, if you're a long-time listener of the show, you know that this is essentially the equivalent of like a month or 2-month-long Christmas. As a basketball fan, this is the moment you wait for. The games matter. The intensity goes up a notch. I can't wait. I'm so beyond excited, especially given the Lakers, my boys, the purple and gold. There's a lot to be optimistic about. Now, I'm a general fan of the league. I love following all the games, all the teams, all the players, all the storylines. But when it comes down to it, I am a Lakers fan. So I, for one, am very excited to see postseason basketball start. Before that, though, there's still 10 teams who are going to miss out. There'll be a few more who bow out in the play-in, but there's going to be 10 teams, 5 from the East, 5 from the West, that miss the cut altogether. Today, I kind of want to... It's going to be a two-part series, as has been the theme over the course of the last few weeks. A two-part series called Always Look on the Bright Side. Now, I'll get into it momentarily what that means, but essentially giving a compliment to each team heading into next season. Before we get into that, though, guys, just want to give a big shout out to both Stadium Scene and The Cover, both those networks continuing to showcase my work here at the Daily Dribble, as well as a whole host of other content creators in and around Australia, New Zealand, the US, and Canada. Very, very appreciative for all their continued hard work and support. Likewise, for all you guys continuing to stay up to date with all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, for all the latest news from both the NBA and the NBL. Rightio, as I said, always look on the bright side. It's a two-part series tackling the Eastern Conference today. I want to say something positive about each team that's set to miss out on postseason basketball. Now, next week I'll tackle the West. I've got 5 teams to rip through here today. I won't stand on ceremony. I'm going to get right into it, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What I got right here, what I got wrong, and what do you think these 5 teams have to look forward to? Nevertheless, without further ado, let's get into it. Very good. Starting first and foremost with the Washington Wizards. Now, my compliment for them is that Alex Sarr, he has started to build into the season really, really well. A lot of positive signs to look forward to heading into next season. Now, the number 2 pick in the 2024 draft, it's been more of a slow build for him into the season. Across the season's entirety, he's averaged 13 points, 6.6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.6 blocks, whilst going up 40% from the field in 27 minutes a night. It doesn't blow you away. It's certainly serviceable. It's not, leaping off the page, but quite adequate. Although at the time of recording, in his past 5 games, that's jumped to 16.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 2.2 blocks, and, that includes his most recent game against Miami being an absolute stinker as well. Now, you take that into consideration. Again, granted, it's a 4 to 5 game sample size, but there's a noticeable improvement. He seems a lot more comfortable and relaxed, playing a lot better basketball on both ends of the floor at the moment. And I think it's really positive signs that that's potentially where his trajectory is headed. A really high-quality player. At the moment, you would suggest he's got all the makings of a quality role player, but now you can see the upside that he's potentially, the star, I wouldn't say superstar, but there's star potential about him. So if you're a Wizards fan, I think you're quietly optimistic about Alex Sarr and his season heading into the 2025-2026 campaign. Moving on to the Charlotte Hornets. Now, my positive comment for them, looking on the bright side, is that law of averages says that we see more of LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller on the court together. Now, that backcourt of Miller and Ball, it's now been going 2 seasons since Miller came in. A very two disjointed seasons at that, though. Across the past 2 seasons, LaMelo has played 22, and 47 games respectively, whilst Miller's gone at 74 in his rookie campaign and then 27 games this season. Now, unfortunately, they just haven't been able to stay on the court together at the same time, which is really disappointing if you're a Hornets fan, given how dynamic they are together. Arguably the most dynamic backcourt in the league when they're fit and firing. But, it's just disappointing that we haven't got to see that across a large sample size. Now, with both of them having extended time off to address current injuries, hopefully they can both get fit and firing for next season, have a really strong preseason. To be honest, for the Hornets, their entire success is dependent on LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. There's not a lot of other positive pieces there. Josh Okogie's come in. Miles Bridges has been a bit of a bright spark. But all things considered, it really is Ball and Miller. So law of averages, though, as I said, 47 games and 27 games each respectively this season. Law of averages says we see more of them. Between the two of them across the past two seasons, out of 164, this season, out of a possible 164 games combined, they've suited up for 74. They've missed 90 games this season combined once the season's all said and done. That's got to go up. That has got to go up. And, in a perfect world in which they're both fit and healthy and firing, they should be sniffing the plane at least. They are that talented, both Ball and Miller, to really carry this team there to the postseason. I don't think into a playoff spot, absolutely not. But they should be eyeing the play-in. So that is my positive comment for the Hornets. Moving on to Philly. Quinton Grimes looks like a new player in Philly. This is a huge positive. You're absolutely looking on the bright side there with Quinton Grimes at the minute. Since making that move from Dallas to Philly, he really has been reborn. With the Dallas Mavericks this season across 47 games, he was averaging 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 46% from the field. Since the move to Philly, he's suited up in 22 games, in that time averaging 21.8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals on 49% from the field per game. Now, absolutely, I'm not naive. Absolutely, a big part of this is due to the necessity of Philly not having their superstar players on the court. He's absolutely made the most of the opportunity that's been presented to him, though. Now, he's just around the corner, approaching his 25th birthday. He could well be a piece that Philly look to build around and invest in alongside Tyrese Maxey. I think if I'm a Philly fan, Embiid, you can go. Paul George, you can go. You're absolutely giving the keys to the city. You're building around Maxey and just looking to put competent pieces around him. I think Grimes is a great complementary piece. He's certainly displayed enough over the 22 games to suggest, it's a big enough sample size to suggest that he can take on a bigger role within a team. And I think he's found his spot here in Philly. So if I'm a Philly fan, I'm very, very pleased with that acquisition from Dallas to Philly of Quinton Grimes. Moving on to Brooklyn. Now, I'm going to be honest, I found this one extremely, extremely difficult. Not in the sense that there's not, positive things happening there in Brooklyn. I thought about Keon Johnson. He's certainly been a bright spark. You've got some talented trade pieces there to help rebuild and start from the ground up. But essentially what I settled on for Brooklyn is the fact that you're a gritty team. Embrace that grit and grind. Embrace being a dog team. Now, heading into next season, you're not going to be destined for success. It's just not on the radar at the moment. But with some of the pieces that you have there in Claxton, in Cam Thomas, in Cam Johnson, D'Angelo Russell, these are players that all have trade worth. Now, I'm sure going into the offseason, a lot of teams might cast their eye towards some of those players. And, in the event that they move on, let's say 2, 3, potentially all of them move on, Brooklyn just have an ability to find absolute dogs. Not big name players, barely named players at all, but they just have an ability to fill their roster with guys who play hard every single night. Now, if I'm a Brooklyn fan, I'm looking forward to the fact that, yeah, granted, you're probably not going to win a lot of games next season, but you'll play hard and competitive basketball night in and night out across 82 games of the season. You'll probably, provide spoil for a lot of teams within the league. But I think that's what you hang your hat on. Memphis did it, the grit and grind Grizzlies. This is the second coming, I think, of that. And if you're in Brooklyn, you've got to embrace that. Just as you don't have the star power there to kind of carry yourself to wins, you've got to hang your hat on just being a gritty team. And I think they are that. Again, found that one really hard, though. Pardon me. Moving on finally to the fifth team who's set to miss out on the postseason, the Toronto Raptors. My positive comment for them was that with Brandon Ingram back next season, you're actually going to be a decent team. Now, at the time of recording, the Raptors are 28-47, 5 games back of the Bulls there in 10th. They're not making the postseason. Done. No worries. But had they have had a healthy Brandon Ingram after the trade deadline, I absolutely think they could have made a run at it. With players like Barnes, Barrett, Quickly, Pirtle, Grady Dick, throw Ingram into that mix, and that's got all the makings of a really super, super solid team. Now, I haven't delved too deep into what their contract situations are like. Absolutely a couple of those players could potentially be on the move this offseason. But let's go hypothetically. You bring that band back, throw Ingram into the mix. That's a team that I think is befitting of, at minimum, playing. I think pushing towards playoff. And if you're a Raptors fan, you would take that after a couple of seasons out in the wilderness. You would absolutely take a team that's kind of flirting. We'll say flirting with the playoffs. I've quite enjoyed seeing how they've gone most recently. We haven't had a huge sample size of Barnes, Barrett, Quickly all together. But what we have seen, and as I said, throwing Grady Dick, throwing Pirtle, there's some really quality role players at their disposal as well. I think with Ingram as well, they're going to be a really, really fun watch. And again, as I spoke about with Brooklyn, a really competitive team every single night. So if you're a Toronto fan, find solace in that you've got quite a good team on your hands. Guys, there you have it. There are all 5 teams that are set to miss postseason basketball from the Eastern Conference. Always looking on the bright side, trying to give them each a compliment. Next week, I'll be transitioning to the West. I'm certainly looking forward to that. As I said at the top of the show, I would love to hear your thoughts, though, what I got right, what I got wrong. 5 teams set to miss out in the East. That's almost probably one of the last times until we do our end of season kind of gradings that I'll talk about those couple of teams. Likewise, it'll be similar in the West next week, because after that, we're into postseason basketball. So get excited, guys. Get keen. Continue to stay up to date with all the socials for all the latest news from the NBA and the NBL. Just look up the Daily Dribble on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as subscribing wherever you're listening, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or watching the show on YouTube. Subscribe to get the episodes as soon as they drop. Till next week, though, guys, have a fantastic week. Enjoy the last couple of games of the NBA regular season for 2024-2025. And I can't wait to look on the bright side with you again next week, tackling the Western Conference. Till then, though, remember, be good at it. See you guys.